Hello everybody, my name is Brianna Bilo. I'm a meteorologist here with the National Weather Service office in Grand Junction, Colorado, and this is your August 2024 monthly climate summary. So starting out, we saw the return of the monsoon. One of our forecasters made this image for one of our weather stories, saying the monsoon is back with a vengeance. This was of August 9th, 2024. I'm not sure why that says 2043. But we definitely, this sentiment definitely carried through. The month of August started off as hot and dry, but by the second week of the month, we started seeing monsoonal surge after monsoonal surge, increasing the humidity, increasing the threat of heavy rain and flash flooding all across the area. And we saw some truly prolific rain-making thunderstorms, and many areas saw some pretty significant rainfall this month. Durango topped the charts with 3 inches as a total at the end of the month, which ended up being 1.63 inches above normal, so over 1.5 inches above normal for the month of August. Flash flooding did indeed become a problem, especially for some of our desert regions. So that includes portions of southeast Utah, southwest Colorado, areas along the Colorado River, so Grand County in Utah, particularly Moab, Grand Junction, and also some of our more well-known flashy areas such as around Redstone, Placerville. We also had a couple of debris flows on Colorado 83 or 82 near Carbondale. So really we saw impacts from this just about everywhere across the area. And not to mention the precipitation, although definitely Moab suffered the worst from this one, having several days of flash flooding through downtown, and that's not counting the days that we also had in June. But we also saw some severe weather days, bringing some large hail over 1 inch, frequent lightning, strong gusty winds of 60 to 70 miles an hour, and we even had a couple more severe thunderstorm watches, which I will say before June we had not had for 4 years. Moving into our summary for the temperatures, as I said, the beginning of the month was actually pretty warm. We topped out at 104 in Canyonlands, followed closely by 103 in Grand Junction, and this was on the 1st and the 2nd. For Junction, and on the 2nd in Canyonlands, and then an 88 for a high in Aspen. This is our lowest high temperature, and this is on the 1st, 2nd, and the 3rd. And pretty much all of these temperatures are clustered between the 1st and the 5th. That was kind of before we started seeing this monsoonal push, dropping temperatures, increasing humidity. The rest of the month kind of tapered closer to normal, although we did still see several areas above normal. And you can actually check that out in the written summary, which is linked in the description. So if you want more of a detailed rundown of everything about this month, your temperature departures, your precipitation departures, climate outlooks, graphical summaries of precipitation, that's all included down there. For our low temperatures, our coldest low was 39. This was in Meeker on the 30th and the 31st. Our warmest low was 56 in Grand Junction on the 27th. And all of these temperatures are pretty much clustered around those last couple days of the month between like the 27th and the 31st, which kind of hints at what we've seen as we've moved into September, that we are starting to move into a more fall-like pattern. Temperatures are cooling. We are getting closer to our normal values, and our normal values are actually cooling quite significantly. Just a couple weeks ago, our normal high here in Junction was 88. It is down to 82 now. So this was kind of just a precursor to what we were going to continue to see in the month of September, because this was also ushered in by a very strong but dry cold front, which we have seen a couple times now through the month, and we are actually, as of the time recording this, about to see within the next day or two, again dropping our temperatures. And when we rebound, we don't rebound quite as high. So I will say I remember that 56-degree temperature in Grand Junction, and let me tell you, that felt fantastic after a month of mid-60-degree lows. I'm ready for fall. I don't know about you people. August 2024 precipitation. We did great in August as far as precipitation. Sometimes in some places maybe a little too great, because we did deal with that flash flooding and debris flow threat. But our big winner, as I mentioned earlier, is Durango with 3 inches as a monthly total, which was 1.63 inches above normal. At the bottom, still vernal, coming out with just over an inch for the month of August, but this was almost 0.3 of an inch above normal, and this is the very first time in a long time that vernal has finished a month with above normal precipitation at all. This is honestly one of the few times that vernal has finished a month with precipitation, period, because for several months there, and you'll know this if you've watched these regularly, vernal would finish the month with a trace to 1/100th of an inch of precipitation. So really satisfying to see them in the green for once. Everybody else doing really well though. Anywhere from, not counting vernal, anywhere from 1/2 inch to over 1.5 inches above normal for the month of August. Looking at our drought update. Good news all around, thanks to that precipitation that we received. This is as of September 3rd. If you're interested in seeing the most recent update where even more of this D0 is gone, you can go to the USDA Drought Monitor website. You can just Google Drought Monitor, and you can take a look at the Intermountain West, or you can take a look at, through the Compare 2 Weeks tool, just the values for the Grand Junction County Warning Area. But as I said, good news, Western Colorado nearly drought-free, few pockets of D0 abnormally dry conditions hanging out on the fringes. More of eastern Utah remains under drought, at least under abnormally dry conditions. But of course, with what happened in Moab, we couldn't exactly leave them as abnormally dry for right now. So overall, good news. Let's keep it that way. And again, our drought outlook. So with the sake of this drought tendency image, you need to have at least a D1 moderate drought for a drought tendency. And because we don't have that, which is good, there is no signal. So, there's no saying that the D0s are going to stick around, going to go away, that things are going to get worse or better. So for the most part, at least at this point, it's relatively safe to assume that the drought in eastern Utah and western Colorado is going to either stay drought-free, become more drought-free, or become more abnormally dry as the month goes on. And a lot of that really depends on what happens in September and going forward, whether we see a dry fall or a wet fall, because that will also have an impact on what happens with our winter snowpack. It's weird to be thinking about winter already. It's barely September, but I mean, we've already gotten some dusting of snow on the higher peaks. So I mean, fall is definitely here and winter is not far behind. Looking at the Climate Prediction Center for outlook for September, strongly favoring above normal temperatures. This is, I believe, 50 to 60% likelihood of above normal temperatures. So the Climate Prediction Center, at least, is really on board with the thought that we are going to remain above normal through the month of September. We'll see. We've kind of been doing this thing, at least as of this point in the month, where we'll be above normal for a couple days, then we'll drop significantly below normal, then we'll rebound to slightly above normal, and then we'll drop again. So it's really going to depend on how all of those values even out at the end of the month as to whether we're going to be really above normal, slightly above normal, near normal, that kind of thing. And then they are also slightly favoring us for below normal precipitation. This is 33 to 40% tendency towards below normal precipitation, where anything below 33% is considered equal chances. So yes, there is a signal for below normal precipitation per the Climate Prediction Center, but it's not a super strong one at the moment. So again, we're just going to kind of have to wait and see. Transition seasons tend to be very difficult. Just by their nature, they are transition seasons. We're moving from one set of patterns to another set of patterns. So in this case, we're moving from hot and wet to potentially warm and dry, but it could also be potentially cool and dry or cool and wet. It's hard to say at this point. So we're just going to have to keep our eye on things and see how the month develops. And I think I lost my mouse. Come back, mouse. Hello. There we go. All right, so that's it for the August summary. I will see you again in a month with the September summary, and we'll see how things shook out. And if you're interested and you haven't watched it already, there is a seasonal summary that is also being posted for the summer season of June, July, and August, kind of tying things up, wrapping things up, kind of just talking about some of the high points of the season, because it was definitely an interesting one. And if you're new here and you want to get an idea of what's gone on over the course of the year so far, there are backlogs of videos that you can watch on this website, on this account. And if you like what we do, stick around and I'll see you all in about a month. Have a good one, everybody.